Welcome to Total Motorcycle, where today we're going to be talking with experienced street rider Allison about her decision to take up adventure riding with her brand new 2020 KTM 390 Adventure. So you've been a street rider for a long time on kind of sportier bikes. Can you tell us what led you the decision to try adventure riding?
Well, it was something I wanted to do for a while, but the logistics of it around here are definitely a problem. The best riding is about an hour out of the city. So to get out there, you either have to trailer a bike, I don't have a truck, or you have to ride a dirt bike, which wouldn't be that much fun for 2 hours there and back. And a big adventure bike just wasn't sort of something I was really interested in. But when KTM released this, which was just a small bike, I'd already ridden the Duke 390 and absolutely loved it. And I thought, yes, this is my bike.
So can you tell us a little bit about your first impressions comfort-wise with the bike?
Okay, I really like it so far. It's still surprisingly tall. I'm a tall female, so I don't normally have a problem touching the ground. I'm on tiptoes on this bike, so if you're looking for something lower, it's still relatively tall. I'm going to complain about the seat a wee bit. I just find that it's quite wide through the front, so that might be something that some females notice if they're getting on this bike sort of for the first time. Guys obviously have longer legs and are just generally bigger, but I'm finding that, yeah, it would be nice to just have a little bit less width in the front of the seat. I find it easy to punt around on the street. It handles super well. It's really, really nimble. The wind protection, just this little screen up here, seems to be pretty good. So far, I've only taken it to 120, which is where it starts to tell me off while I'm still doing the run-in. But yeah, initial impressions are all good.
So, Allie, you've had this bike for a week now, about a week. Any other features you want to tell us about?
Sure, let's talk about all the bits and pieces that it came with, which was a pleasant surprise. Obviously, crash guards, which is nice and will probably be well used. It has a skid plate. It's a plastic skid plate, but still, it has a skid plate. It has the Barkbusters handguards here. Again, plastic handguards, but nice to have. It has the small windscreen, which is not adjustable, but again, it has one. It has ABS and traction control. So those are controllable from the dash, and also there's an app that you can download, the MyRide App, the KTM app, that will allow you to control basically everything on the dashboard through your phone, which is pretty cool.
Great first impressions, Allie. Stay tuned for part 2 where we'll get some first impressions from Allie riding on the street, her first forays onto the gravel, and single track on her new 2020 KTM 390 Adventure. So, Allie, now that you've done a little more street riding and you've got some gravel under your belt, what are your impressions?
I'm having a lot of fun. It's a really good time. I went on the gravel and didn't die, so that was great. It's very different to riding a street bike on the gravel, and I'm having a lot of fun on the road. It is a lot of fun to just punt this little guy around and go through some twisties and play in the traffic, and yeah, it's a good time.
Awesome. So what do you feel about ground clearance when you're on the gravel?
The ground clearance is great. I certainly didn't notice when I was out on the gravel, and sure, it wasn't anything fancy, but I didn't notice that it was a problem. Like maybe if I start hopping logs or something, that might be a little bit different. On the road, I love having the taller bike. I never really understood why people like riding adventure bikes on the road, but now I really get it. It's like, nice and high in traffic. They're really, really super, super nimble and really easy to get around on. So yeah, it's a good time.
All right. As somebody who's never really ridden on gravel before, what did you think?
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I'm not a fan of gravel on my road bike. Getting on the gravel on this, especially sort of like the deeper, looser gravel, was kind of a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was actually pretty fun by the end. This handle's completely different from a street bike where you might hit some accidental gravel, probably with the bigger wheels and stuff, but it was really fun. Like, it tracks super well, like it kind of moves around a bit, but once you get used to that, it's like it was actually pretty easy to ride, so that was a nice surprise.
We are almost at the end of our riding season here in Canada, as you can see with the fall colors. So, Allie, Any big plans for 2021 with this bike?
Sure. Over the winter, I think I'm going to get the seat reupholstered because it is certainly not very comfortable. So I'm going to get somebody to take a look at that for me. Early next season, I really want to do a riding course as well. So I'm a big fan of like learning to do things properly, I guess. When I was mountain biking, I did a lot of instruction, and it just makes such a huge difference being able to do stuff when you know how to do it properly. So that's one of the first things to do next season, is to take an off-road riding course and learn some off-road skills. And apart from that, just get out and ride as much as I can.
You mentioned that you are a mountain biker, Ali. So are there any skills that helped you with your adventure riding?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the stuff that I've learned mountain biking, things like the body position and where to put yourself going uphill and going downhill and stuff like that, actually translated pretty easily to the bike. So that was a surprise when we did a little bit of just going up through fire road stuff. It was, yeah, you could definitely tell that some of those skills translate over pretty easily. So looking forward to doing a little bit next season.
Thank you so much for your first impressions, Ali. We look forward to hearing about all of your adventures in 2021. Single track.